And then he comes in. All this is done. They kind of look at your hair and say, oh, maybe you should brush it this way. And they put a little powder on your nose, and Ken will be here anymore. Ken's coming, And then eventually the door opens, and in walks this extraordinary human being, extraordinary in talent, extraordinary in breadth, and he has an extraordinary look. I mean, a physical look.
Extraordinary in conversation, too.
And he comes in, and then he shakes your hand, and he says, "Are you ready to go?" And that's it. There's no briefing. And he sits down, and he is 2.5 feet from me. And so it's like you're at a small diner looking across the little table. And he's there, and the camera is not on his shoulder, but essentially it is. It's on a tripod, and it sits right above his shoulder.
So you have this huge lens right in your face, and Ken Burns.
And he's right in your face.
Right.
And there's some lights, and then there's a sound guy, and there 4 or 5 people in the room, and then he has a mesmerizing physical presence. This is what charisma means, and then he says, "So who's Thomas Jefferson?" And you go,
Well, now but people who would see this would realize that you didn't go.
Well, you start that way, and then you sort of because you think he's going to say, "What was Jefferson's response to the French Revolution?" or "Tell us about the calendar clock at Monticello." But he doesn't. He wants to see its discovery, and as you know, we've made some documentary films together, you and I, and I've adopted that as a mechanism that you don't know what you're going to get. You want the person to tell you what the story is.
Well, in a good documentary, absolutely. It's a lot of people going with, and we've talked about this at length, but going with a preconceived idea of a story, and it's never.
That's a bad way to make film.
Well, but also there's just so many great stories that you will never get if you go in that way.
So after a few minutes, you sort of find your rhythm. You realize, I'm going to say what I can. And he asks follow-up questions, and then you move into he asks specific questions about specific incidents in Jefferson's life, and the whole time you're thinking, I'm trying to take deep breaths and be present and be articulate and know the material and be factual, be compelling. You're also on camera, so you can't close your eyes and look down. You can't have notes. You have to look into his face and into the camera at all times. And this goes on for about 2 hours. And then he says, "Thank you very much," and you go have lunch, all of you. And then you drive back to the Boston or Hartford airport and fly away and think, I failed. You think that I failed so badly that they're sorry they invited me.